A Happy New Year. I am Sister Martina, and I'm going to try a third series. We could call it Virtues or Christian Virtues in Times of Crisis. We have just gone through Christmas time, and that's why I have here with me this beautiful Madonna in such a very human and loving attitude with Jesus on her lap. And of course, we are going through times of deep crisis. I mean, all sorts of crises, but for us Christians and Catholics, also crisis in the church. And these times leave us naturally very lost. We don't know anymore in what or in whom we should believe, and the things that seem to us very sure and very secure sometimes are not anymore there. And that's the problem in times of crisis. We don't know where to go somehow, and we begin to doubt everything. Again, here we tend to fall into the extremes. We either get rebellious because of our disappointments and hurts, and we think, I cannot believe in anything anymore, I cannot believe in anyone anymore, and we turn even violent, of course, even if only in our words or thoughts. Or we fall into the other extreme of getting depressed and saying there is no hope, there is no truth, there is nothing more in which I believed, and so, I mean, it's not worth it. And virtue, a word that is so forgotten today, and we see the consequences, is exactly again that middle way. Being firm, being brave. Virtue means courage, being strong, not falling into rebellion, not falling into depression, just being there like a ship with an anchor, and standing the storm because of this. And one of the things that happens to us when we are in times of crisis normally is that we lose our security and we become then very vulnerable. This is one of the methods that the dictatorships used, for example, to break down people. They made a person so unsure of himself that they could then stuff into this person all kind of their own ideologies. And we see this happening today because we are unsure, mostly we Christians. We become then vulnerable to all sorts of ideologies and even lies that surround us from the media, from books, from people, even from our own thoughts. And this makes us, of course, even more lost, even more insecure, and it goes in crisis then. We should, at these moments exactly, not try to go in all directions and look for all sort of distractions and solutions, but on the contrary, we should go back, so to say. English Catholic writer Chesterton says, go back to our house, go back to those things we know are true and good. The problem is that these things, they are very modest. They seem to us, in comparison with all the noise and the shouting of what is around us, these things seem to us almost unbelievable because they are so modest, because they are so simple and so humble. And again, we see the mark, so to say, the hallmark of God things, because God does not oppress us. What oppresses us is exactly lie, the ideology, the deceivings. God, on the contrary, only proposes to us, calls us, offers us. He always leaves us with our freedom. And we ourselves have to have the strength to say, to look, to search, and to say to ourselves, this is what I believe. Here is where I know the truth is. But it demands from us an effort and demands from us virtue, exactly. We have to be brave enough and simple enough, so to say, humble enough, not to let ourselves be taken away by the waves, but stay there firm as the house built on the rock that Jesus says in the gospel. Everything we find in the gospel, we don't need to look for actually for anything else. Everything that that is important to our lives and our salvation is in the gospel. Just look there. Jesus said everything that needs to be said. And he says the house built on the rock is the house that can stand, of course, the storms. Many saints speak also about peace of spirit. If we are happy or unhappy, if we have everything we want in this life or not, this is circumstantial. We cannot control that. But peace of spirit is something that we can attain with the grace of God, of course, when we know that we've done what we should have done, that we have repented our faults, our sins, and we have this security of exactly not having let ourselves be taken away by lies. And this peace of spirit, the saints say, is the most precious things that we can have. Is the one thing that makes us actually happy, actually full of courage and full of love and full of happiness in this life. Virtue is, of course, something that is not indifference, for example, of Buddhism or something, or is not the being considering ourselves an elite. Virtue, the old Greeks and Romans thought so, but not for us Christians. Being virtuous doesn't mean at all that I think myself better than the others. On the contrary, virtue makes me more human, makes me better, makes me even more even kinder, makes me understand others better, because virtue brings me closer to God, and in the way that I'm closer to God, I am more human, like Jesus is. Because he's God, he's so good. Because he's God, he is so merciful. Being hard is the antithesis of God. God is not hard, God is loving, God is merciful. And virtue is also not indifference. I am virtuous, and so nothing gets to me. I am totally indifferent to what is happening. Like this is like the Stoics from old Roman times. No, on the contrary, we do suffer. We do suffer. People think that because we are Christians and have faith, we should not suffer. No, we suffer just like everybody else. The same problems that everybody have, we have too. We are sick, we suffer, we lose people we love, and there's so many problems in life that all of us have together. What faith gives us is the attitude in what concerns the things. What faith gives us is the light to show us the way when exactly the problem is there. So virtue requires from us an effort, of course. God is there, God gives us his grace, but somehow we have to answer. And he doesn't demand from us a very, very impressive answer. No, our answer is simply, as Pope Francis always say, accepting it and say, my God, I need you. My God, I am not going to listen to all this noise around me. I am going to listen to your voice, to the voice of mercy and goodness and being just and being really brave that I see in my heart. We also cannot confuse virtue with external things. That's exactly, again, what Jesus says of the Pharisees. They are full of rules, religious rules, and they oppress the others. Virtue has nothing to do with it. I can have this habit and I can even pray all day long, but in my heart, it may be that God is not there. So virtue is something much deeper. It's the authenticity, the veracity of really following God's commandments. Again, Jesus said in the gospel, those who follow me are not the ones who say, Lord, Lord, but the ones who do what I say. And that's what we need. We need to go back to essential things, not speaking too much, not reading enormously much, but really in this sense, of course we can read other things, but in the sense of our religious life, really doing good things, even if a few of them, that's enough sometimes for our days. Let's try them in this series to look at the virtues a little bit and to see if they can help us in our way to God. God bless you all. See you soon.